Hello, it is Askkrystalracquel and I am back again. The topic for this video is going to be, well, first of all, this is day 9 of 21 days. I just wanted to say thank you for all of you who are watching my videos. The topic that I want to talk about today is following your dreams and going forward whenever you have a goal for your life. We all have goals, we all have a vision for our life, and there's been times in my life where I'll think back to when I was younger and I'll be like, I remember when I was younger, I had these goals, I was ambitious, I felt that by the time I was this age, I would be doing these great things. And one, we have to remember, we're all in a different place in our life, and just because you may not be where you want to be right now or where you thought you would have been, that doesn't mean you need to stop. You need to keep pressing forward. You haven't won the race yet, so keep going forward. And life is not always going to be easy for you. There are going to be some things that come your way that can be difficult and challenging, but one thing I tend to say is that I actually like when there's challenges, because it brings about growth. At least that's the way I feel about work and jobs. Like, I like when there's change sometimes, because that's how you learn. I remember there was one job that I started when I was, I think in my last year of college, and I would work part-time during the weekdays, and then after I graduated, I continued to work there, and I eventually moved into a different role. When I first started, I was working in a call center representative role, and before I left, so like the year before I left, so I was there for about 2 years. In my final year, I started as a project coordinator. And I remember when I first started that job, I was very stressed. I was confused. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so much. And I remember talking to my mom about it a lot. And that type of thing is so easy for me. Project manager, program manager, anything having to do with a job that incorporates a lot of components and managing a lot of different priorities. Being able to decipher what's the priority in work. Those things are very easy and simple to me now, but I remember at the time I was like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Like, I don't even like doing this. But it really helped me. And just that year of doing that, it became really easy. And that is a lot of, not what I do now, but that's probably the easiest job for me, those type of roles. So just remember that there are going to be times when things come your way and it's a little bit difficult. It might be challenging. You might not even like it. That doesn't mean you should stop. When I first had my, like a serious management role, obviously at the beginning it wasn't very easy. By the end of that role, it was pretty easy. So you may not necessarily like doing something at the beginning, but sometimes God is putting you through certain things because he knows you're going to need that skill set in your future, or maybe there's something you want to do. You may not have a particular skill set at the moment, but by putting you through challenges, allowing you to use your brain to resolve conflict, that's going to help you be better in the future. What's the one thing that I heard? I heard that there's no successful person who either has not failed or has not taken risk. Yeah, that's it, has not taken a risk. So if you're not willing to take risks, if you're not willing to be uncomfortable, or potentially be in a challenging situation, it may be difficult for you to meet those goals. So think about what it is you want. Think about your passion. Think about where you see yourself in, 5 years, they always say. And think about it. What do you need? Who you see yourself as in those 5 years from now? What will you need to get there? Is it a skill? Is it a course? Is it a degree? Is it a certain work experience? Is it a certain diet and lifestyle? Let's say that you envision yourself, you want to be a personal trainer. You think in 5 years you want to be a personal trainer. Okay. It doesn't, you can be a personal trainer. There are personal trainers who are overweight or obese. Okay, that's sure. That is, probably going to be a certain clientele who goes to you. That might be older people who maybe are trying to get back into shape, seniors, or maybe other people who are also overweight and they feel comfortable with you. However, keep in mind, probably if you want to broaden your base, your client base, you may need to start working out, show that you have that discipline, so then that way people can trust in you to help them get to where they are. Me personally, if I'll be honest, if I was seeking a personal trainer and they were obese, I would not select them. Okay, so if that's where you are, just think, I'm just saying in general, think about the things that you want for yourself and what you need to get there. For instance, if you know that you want to be a teacher, you don't have the teaching credential, but you want to be a teacher, so you decide you're going to get the teaching credential. That way, in 5 years, you can become a teacher. Let's say you don't. Not everything is going to be the conventional path. Let's say you don't want to get your teaching license. Okay, that's okay. You can still find ways to teach. You can do online courses. You could become successful in that. But just know, if you want to be a traditional teacher, you're going to end up in substitute teacher roles. You're not going to be paid as much. You're going to be working at potentially private schools in maybe low income areas where maybe their selection process is not as rigorous. So keep those things in mind. First of all, with God, there's always a way around things. For instance, me, I did go to school for something that's unrelated to I wouldn't say it's unrelated, but let's say I would like to counsel others. If I would have liked to diagnose people and be a psychologist, I would definitely have to go back to school for that. I would have to get my PhD in psychology or a related field that allows you to practice psychology. Actually, that's psychiatry. Or to do certain things, I'd have to get the PhD in psychology, or I'd have to go to medical school and become a psychiatrist. But there's other ways. I can go to school, get my master's in social work, which allows me to practice as a therapist, or I can go to school for mental health counseling and do that certification that way. Or there's other ways. Just know you're not going to be able to register and do things legally with the state, but there's other things you can go to school for. You can counsel in your church, things like that, if you're just a really good advice giver. But there's always a way around things, but it depends on what you want for yourself. So if there's something in you, there's a possibility that you can do it without the credentials. But if you want to broaden your horizon, then you may want to consider those credentials, but it's not for everyone. And really just know that there are goals that were probably placed inside of you, or maybe it's just something that you began to enjoy as I'm trying to check the time, that you begin to enjoy just by doing hobbies and things like that. So I would definitely encourage you to take time and develop your gifts and find things that you love to do, and then go from there, because our time on this earth is so short. You don't want to come to the end of your life, none of us do, and then realize, oh wow, we didn't really accomplish much. We didn't do anything with what was given to us. We were lazy, we were complacent, we just wanted to stay still. And it's really not good to be idle. And one thing that you want to keep in mind is that there's a lot of older people who are having struggles when they reach like their senior citizen status. Let's say that they didn't really work when they were younger, or let's say they had really low paying jobs, or that they never had benefits and they don't have any retirement set aside. What happens is they're gonna have to live off of their Social Security, and you don't want to get to a point in your life where, I'm not saying those people I just mentioned in particular, but you don't want to get to a point in your life where you had so much inside of you, so much to give, so much talent, and you did nothing with it, and then you come to the end of your life and now you're going to be dependent on other people. You can potentially be in a really scary place. So just keep that in mind. We have our youth for a reason. So when you're in your teens, there's no limit on what you can do regardless of your age. But let's say from your teens through maybe 50 is when you should really be on the ground running with a lot of stuff, developing your life, developing your talents, developing your skill sets, starting your businesses, and doing things that way, because life is so short. And I'm in my 30s, and when I look back, I'm like, oh wow, I remember I was young back then. I was in my teens, and you can never get any time back. So just make the most of it and just keep pushing, keep going, and you'll be able to meet your goals. Your goals are your own. No one can move you forward. No one can say, hey, this is what you're supposed to do, so do this. Well, somebody can start you off, but you're gonna have to push through. You're gonna have to make choices. You're gonna have to make decisions. You're gonna have to start climbing the ladder to reach where you want to be. And you can do it. We can all do it. It can be challenging to set time aside, but you can even just say, hey, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to pray. That can be your first step to discipline yourself. Or you can say, oh, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to start writing out my business plan for myself. I'm going to start writing out 1 to 15 what I want for myself in this year, what I want for myself in 5 years. And when you start thinking about the things and start envisioning it for yourself, it's going to come to pass. So just keep that in mind. Everyone is so unique and different. We all have so much strength. We all have different strengths, and we're definitely capable of moving forward and making appropriate steps for our life. So we just have to keep that in mind, that regardless of how you may feel, if you're feeling discouraged, if you're feeling that maybe I don't know what to do next to move forward, I want to be a doctor, but I didn't go to school for that. There are people who later in their life, they decide to go back to law school. They've had other professions before. They decide to go to medical school. So it's never too late. If that's a genuine desire in your heart, then go ahead and do it. And let's say you want to set up a business. Let's say you would like to open a restaurant. You have to just do your research. If you don't know someone who can help you, you will want to start doing training somewhere as an apprenticeship. And from there, you can definitely do it. So don't give up hope, and just remember, you have to take steps forward. And just think about what it is you will need to get to where you see yourself in 5 years. So look at yourself 5 years from now, what the best thing you would like to be, and just think about what you need to do right now to get there. Hope you have a blessed day. Bye.